Meg Griffin has been through a lot. If anyone on TV is in desperate need of a lifetime supply of therapy, it's her. This girl has endured the absolute worst. So much so that even her voice actor practically begged the writers to at least give her something of a bit of a win, at least.
It was like years into the show and I was like, just give her something.
But just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. So here it is. Every single time you couldn't help but feel bad for Meg Griffin. Brian sings and swings. In the episode, Brian sings and swings, Meg meets this one girl who isn't mean to her, Sarah. It feels like Meg is off to a good start to making her first real friend, as the girl later invites her to join their after-school club. It's a pretty fun activity to bond and get closer, but just one small problem with that is that it turns out that the club is actually the Lesbian Alliance.
I heard Sarah is your lab partner. All those years of you rejecting me finally make sense.
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry, Meg, but you know, the self-esteem issue and need for acceptance had really eaten so deep into this girl that she joins the club anyways, and pretends to be a lesbian just because they treat her as a friend. And just to really commit to the part, she goes ahead and dates Sarah, coming out of her imaginary closet to her parents.
I am a lesbian.
That is awesome!
Peter.
Lois knows it's all a sham, but I doubt she really understood the deep reason why Meg had to do all this. Meg was still adamant about being a lesbian just to hang on to her friendship. Lois even went as far as making out with Sarah right in front of her to prove a point.
What do I have to do to prove this to you?
Well, maybe if I'd seen you kiss your girlfriend.
Fine.
What was that? What is she, your grandmother? That's no kiss. Watch this.
And Meg really sat there and watched. Eventually, Meg comes out clean to Sarah and apologizes, and this was averted. But the fact that she went through this length just to have someone accept her is sad. But it can't be as bad as having a sales attendant set herself on fire just to escape looking at you for being ugly. But yeah, that happened too. Don't make me over. In this episode, Meg is pressured by her friends to ask out the hottest guy in school, Craig Hoffman. According to them, she's the only one with experience in a real relationship. Though to be fair, her first boyfriend was practically a dead guy.
Ask him out. I mean, you're the only one of us who's ever had a real boyfriend.
I'm back. I brought another picnic. You're such a good listener. You're not like the other boys. You're so good with animals.
Sheesh, if that doesn't set the tone for disaster, I don't know what does. Meg works up the courage and asks Craig out, but he turns her down. And while rejection isn't exactly new for her, it still stings badly. So she turns to her family for support. But even Stewie jumps at the chance to rub salt in the wound.
Oh, there, let me dry those tears. Yes, your anguish.
Lois tries to cheer her up and takes her to the mall to buy new dresses, but even there, things don't go Meg's way. The moment she steps out of the changing room, the store attendant freaks out, and not in a good way.
How do these jeans look?
And of course, Lois can't even salvage the situation.
What I wear, I look ugly.
Oh, Meg, you're being... That's... Let's try down here.
Yikes, she couldn't even string a proper excuse to make the poor girl feel a big good about herself. Fortunately, Trisha Takanawa is giving away free makeovers at the mall, and Meg takes the chance. Her look is completely transformed. Suddenly, Meg's hot, and with that, she's instantly popular. Meanwhile, Peter and his buddies start a rock band, but like most of their schemes, it flops. The crowd boos and throws stuff at them. To save the moment, Lois drags the whole family on stage, and the second the crowd sees Meg, they're starstruck. Just like that, the chaos calms, and the family starts a music group with Meg as the star. Then their producer, Dr. Diddy, decides the best way to boost the family's popularity is to exploit Meg, and oh boy, it gets bad. Real bad.
Her half naked and put her out front center stage, and that's gonna make y'all billionaires.
Yeah, this didn't age well at all. But you know what was crazier? No one tried to shut it down. Meg's newfound fame quickly goes to her head, and the rest of the family are now worried about her. Then they travel to New York to perform on Saturday Night Live, and for a moment, Meg feels like she truly made it. She even meets Jimmy Fallon and thinks he's into her, but then the twist. She realizes the entire interaction was a joke. A live sketch on national television meant to humiliate her.
Being with you just made me feel so alive from New York. It's Saturday night!
That look on her face, devastating. Even when she's beautiful and popular, things still don't go well for Meg. It's honestly heartbreaking to see her believe she's ugly her whole life, only to find out that changing her appearance doesn't really change how she's treated. But it gets way worse when someone else, that someone else being Chris, gets popular. She's not just thrown under the bus, she's getting hit with a javelin next. Steroids. In the episode Steroids, Chris is the one who became popular after the hot girl in school decided to give dating losers a chance. But then Meg has always wanted to be friends with Connie, so maybe her dating Chris now means they'd get to hang out together? No.
So,
Connie, now that you're dating my brother, maybe we can hang out, you know? Hey, after dinner, you want to come up to my room and give each other makeovers?
I don't use makeup, Meg.
And it's not just Connie who treats her as crap. Chris is just as bad and cruel to her too.
So cool! Hey, what are you wearing so I make sure I don't wear the same thing?
You're not invited, Meg.
What? But it's at my house.
Connie, let me handle this. I'm sorry, Meg. You can't come. There's an ass-to-boob ratio that you're way off of.
Imagine not being invited to a party happening in your own house. Meg goes upstairs to cry her eyes out and Lois comes to console her, but 2 minutes into it, she claims she's been consoling for far too long and has a better suggestion for Meg.
Here's a Sylvia Plath book and a bottle of Ambien. I'm gonna look the other way and whatever happens, happens.
How can your entire family almost just be against you? Damn, Meg. Eventually, Chris, being the douchebag that he is, dumps Connie, and Connie now comes to ask Meg for help in taking Chris down. But just to really sink in the spirit of her, literally, Chris shoots a javelin right at Meg.
Hey, Meg, think fast! Loser!
All right, let's do it. When we're done with him, he'll be more of an outcast than a seagull at an Adam Sandler movie.
But from a javelin hurled at her, Meg will next have to escape a bully in school and have Quagmire teach her a whole new depressing method of self-defense. And when I say depressing, I mean it's really depressing when you think of it. A fistful of Meg. Meg's friends tell her about the new dangerous kid, Mike, and Meg would get in his bad books by spilling food on him. It seems this has to be the worst thing ever because Mike challenges her to a fight the following Friday. Now Meg is freaking out. She desperately tries to find a solution to her problem because, let's face it, Mike would make her a pulp much faster than it takes to say her name. So Meg even considers a transfer to another school and trying to get expelled by any means necessary.
All I have to do is get expelled. That sex tape I released should be everywhere by now. And then they'll have to kick me out of the school.
Ugh, no, that didn't work, as no one was interested in her video, so she hired several jocks to help her out, but Mike beat them up and left a message for her.
Oh no!
Now she's really doomed. It terrifies her so much that she goes to the restroom and cries. I mean, that was just sad to watch, but this is where Quagmire, stationed in the girls' restroom, offers to help her beat Mike. I'm just going to overlook how he even got there in the first place and what the heck he was stooping there for. Quagmire then proceeds to train her by getting her to focus her rage toward Peter, as well as using her own body's grossness as a weapon against Mike.
But you're grosser, and you're gonna use that. Your weird body can be a dangerous weapon if used properly.
Okay.
And if you want to know what he meant by that, the fight was just an absolute mess to watch. At the fight, Mike beats Meg almost senseless, even punching her pretty.
He punched her pretty! Ow, he punched her ugly again!
The young girl never catches a break, but then Meg recalls Quagmire's lessons and wins the fight by grossing the bully out.
You'd be surprised what my face can do to you!
Ugh, that was disturbing to watch. Then she ends the fight by vaporizing Mike. How? Well... On one hand, it's hard to watch, disturbing, and downright sad. So much for body positivity, right? But if that was gross, the moment her entire family gangs up just to spit on her, that takes things to a whole new level of cruelty, and unbelievably, it still manages to get worse in that very same episode. The Griffin family history. So in this episode, the Griffins were about to sleep when they heard a noise. Peter grabs a baton and goes down to check, and it turns out there were robbers in their home. Meg wakes up and goes out to meet her parents to find out what's going on, but sincerely, it would have been best if she just remained in bed.
Dad! What is it? What's going on? I heard a noise. Is somebody downstairs?
Oh, God, Meg, you startled me. I'm sorry.
What the hell's your problem, you dumbass?
A dumbass feels too light to describe Peter with because he leads the family into a panic room he built and locked it up, but one problem.
There's no phone in here. How are we gonna call the police?
Oh my God, we're all gonna die!
And not just about calling for the police, how about food? Well, the family had a solution to that. Meg, of course.
Go get us some sandwiches.
Wait a minute, that's a great idea. If Meg can get through the vent, she can sneak out and go get help.
For someone who's being called the voice of reason, why would Brian think that it makes sense to send out a defenseless girl to a house swarming with armed and dangerous men just to make a sandwich? And like that wasn't bad enough to make her able to crawl through the vent, Peter suggests they grease her up.
We need to grease her up so she doesn't get stuck. Everybody spit on Meg!
Stop! Stop! You got... Ah!
Man, that's just terrible. Why do they have to treat her this way? Meg makes her way down to the kitchen, and Peter doubles down on his foolishness by speaking through the microphone and letting the robbers know Meg's location. She's caught by the robbers, and the robbers decide to pen down a note.
We have your son.
Meg's our daughter.
Can Meg really not catch a break in a single episode? But where things go to the full weird and pitiful zone is when the robbers are rounding up and Meg tells them they are missing out on one part.
So, is this like the part where you guys have your way with me?
What?
You know, where I'm like helpless and you guys take turns, you know?
Oh, no! Oh, God! Oh, no, 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 no!
And as horrifying as Meg's suggestion was, she fights the robber, insisting so much that the man is the one who is traumatized.
Sail!
Come on! I'm pretty!
Are you okay? Yeah, I was so scared.
What the hell is actually going on? At the end of the day, Meg is slammed with a criminal charge.
Fortunately, they're pressing sexual harassment charges against your daughter.
But if she only got a harassment charge here, next she would actually end up going to prison and becoming a whole different person, and every scene just had you feeling bad for her. Dial Meg for murder. The episode starts with an announcement that there will be a rodeo contest, and before the announcement ends, Peter is right there in a cowboy dress, and Meg somehow gets to still suffer this. But there was a lot more in store for Meg this episode. Brian, while conducting a research, stalks Meg to a prison where he and Stewie makes a shocking discovery.
Oh my God! Meg's dating a convict!
Turns out this relationship has been on for a while, and the Luke guy doesn't see a shot at him getting out of prison, and Meg was willing to wait. Oh, dear girl. Brian spills the beans and Lois immediately shuts it down, but Meg is heartbroken, but not for long.
Luke! They let you out of jail?
Not exactly.
He broke out to see me, Brian. We're in love.
Yeah, love is such a force of freedom, but this freedom doesn't last long because Joe catches up with him and his ass is sent right back to jail. And Meg too is also carted away to jail for harboring an escaped convict.
For harboring an escaped convict.
Oh, well, that's only fair because after all, I did hide him from the— What?
Yeah, she had no idea at first what it meant to be sent to jail. 3 months later, Meg is out of prison, but she's different. Prison life totally changed her, and she's fully toughened up, covered in tattoos, and freaking mean and aggressive. Soon, she starts handing out the same treatment that she had suffered all her life. She puts Peter in his place by knocking the teeth out of him, and knocks out Connie and her high school bullies. Basically, everybody shivers in fear when she walks past.
What'd you say, Brian?
Oh, I was just picking up on something Lois said. What was it? What'd you say, Lois? Something about Meg being a freak?
Oh, no. I didn't say anything. Peter said something about Meg, which I completely disagree with.
No, that wasn't me.
Eventually, Meg gets a gun and goes to rob Mort Golden, but then Brian shows up to beg her to stop because this person truly isn't Meg at all. The article he had stalked her for turned out to be the only thing that changed Meg's mind because she reached the part where Brian describes her in a way no one has ever done before, and it completely melts her.
I was just so tired of being everyone's whipping girl that it felt kind of good to do some of the whipping.
Give me the gun.
Yeah, that's how deep her abuse ran. All that toughness and anger just to cover for a lifetime of mistreatment. And when you really stop to think about it, it honestly makes you feel genuinely sad for her. But there's still a lot more to feel sorry for Meg for. But to be real, her dating choices are so terrible that she even ended up a victim to an organ harvester all because of a date. Valentine's Day in Quahog. For Meg's story in this episode, she heads out for a date with a guy from the internet who claims she's prettier than her picture. That was all Meg needed to hear to go out to meet a total stranger. Just a backhanded compliment about her looks. On their date, Meg finds things they have in common, but before bonding time can go any further, she gets knocked out. By the time she wakes, she's in a motel room and discovers that her date stole her kidney.
Toby, what happened?
Oh, I just harvested your kidney.
But despite losing her kidney, Meg has a different thing to worry about.
You promised we'd spend Valentine's Day together. The whole day. And I'm not letting you break that promise.
That is it? That he didn't spend the whole day with you? That's what you want to hold him accountable for? But then, true to his word, they have a full day's date. After their day out, he decides to hand Meg a Valentine's gift. Her kidney that he stole.
I wanted you to have it.
Oh, Toby, I love it. Thank you. Oh, this has been the best Valentine's Day ever.
Hooray! But at the same time, just sad. But if she's not in a twisted dating scene with an organ harvester, she's having a crush on a boy who's actually interested in Chris, not her. Imagine the awkwardness and humiliation. Not all dogs go to heaven. In the episode Not All Dogs Go to Heaven, the Griffins go to a convention, and Peter, being Peter, forces Meg to take a photo with some guy in full body paint. You know, for the funny novelty pic. But surprise, that's not paint. The guy has MS, and thanks to Peter never vaccinating Meg as a kid, she gets infected.
How'd you make that awesome mask?
It's not a mask. I have the mumps.
What? You came to a Star Trek convention with the mumps? You could be infecting people with a disease.
So Meg ends up bedridden, her body swelling in agony, and what does her family do? Absolutely nothing helpful. Lois tries some half-hearted comfort while Peter strolls in, scared to even get close.
All day, but your father's bringing in the old TV.
Hey, Meg.
Peter, what the hell?
I don't want to catch the mumps, Lois. Here's your TV, Meg. It's a little old and there's no remote and it only gets one channel and it's not...
Amazing parenting, just amazing. As usual, Stewie joins in, mocking her pain instead of helping. Alone, swollen, and stuck in bed, Meg finds the only comfort she'll get, a religious channel where Kirk Cameron is smiling at her like God's assistant manager.
Only? Unappreciated? Not totally happy with your physical appearance?
Go on.
Are you unloved? Do you feel like no one cares about you?
Meg, your mother made soup for you. Here you go, honey.
That was all the convincing Meg needed to switch into an ardent believer, but her fate didn't change for the better, as she would still continue to get an even worse treatment in other episodes, like in Friends Without Benefits. Meg has a total crush on the new boy, Kent, but she's afraid to approach him. Her friends are tired of her constant obsession, but she can't. Why? He's too popular, and she's got such low self-esteem. But she finally gathers courage and encouragement from Lois to ask Kent out. But by encouragement, this is what I mean.
Whether it's appropriate for a girl to ask a boy out on a date? Of course it's appropriate. It's also sad and desperate, and I would never do it, but you're not me, are you, sweetie?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I think there's a kinder way you could have still gotten your point across. Lois, Meg phones Kent and asks him out, and to her surprise, Kent actually accepts. They both go out to the movies, and Meg is over the moon, unable to believe her luck. Then later, she tries to kiss him, but gets turned down in the most awkward way possible.
Night.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I thought you wanted...
I didn't think this was a date.
Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
Damn, what else did you think it was? But there's still more. Kent reveals he's gay and prefers Chris. It's gotta be a different kind of low when your crush says he prefers your brother and not you. This gets Meg weeping through the morning and everyone trying to avoid her while she's at it. I know we're supposed to feel bad for her here, but that was hilarious. Meg finally opens up to Brian, and at the end of their conversation, Meg is determined to set Kent straight.
Help him figure out that he's straight.
That would so not end well at all, and in fact, it takes less than a day for Meg to mess things up even worse.
I can't be your boyfriend. In fact, I don't even think I can be your friend.
Meg's friends try to cheer her up, but when they suggest that Kent really does love Chris, she gets the idea to have Kent sleep with Chris, but the reason she wants this is so he can tell her what it was like, so she could have at least some closure for her fantasies. What kind of obsession gets you thinking this way? Of course, Chris is totally against this, but she's not taking no for an answer. She goes to Quagmire to get roofies to dope Chris. She then tells Kent the date with Chris is on, but that he will be asleep. Family or not, this should definitely get her jailed. There has to be something so broken in Meg that would have her descending to a low like this. But then, even when she lands a normal boyfriend, it still doesn't go her way. Go, Stewie, go. For once in her life, Meg actually lands a boyfriend. And not just any boyfriend, a genuinely attractive, charming guy. The kind of guy who doesn't recoil at the sight of her or file a restraining order before their second conversation. And that alone is enough to get the entire town doing a double take. I mean, people were stunned.
He seems to be completely normal.
But just when Meg is starting to believe maybe, just maybe, the universe has stopped treating her like a cosmic punchline, here comes Lois. Feeling insecure about her age and suddenly seeing Meg's boyfriend as a walking ego boost.
That lately Peter's been making me feel so crappy about my age, and well, then I'm around Anthony and he looks at me like I'm young and attractive.
Seriously, Lois, that man is dating your daughter, not applying to be her therapist. But no, Lois starts soaking in every compliment like it's Botox for the soul. But things only get worse. Lois starts to think inappropriate things.
I bet you taste like Mountain Dew and Starburst.
Then she moves from thinking inappropriate thoughts to acting on them. And Meg, poor Meg, gets unknowingly kicked out of her own house so Lois can move in on her man. No hesitation, no shame, just full-on betrayal.
What gray hairs?
Kiss me.
Mom, I forgot my keys. Do you know
where... Rape?
The worst part? She didn't even get an apology. Not from Lois, not from the guy, just another page in the tragic comedy that is Meg Griffin's love life. You can't blame her for next making up a whole imaginary boyfriend. Hard-boiled Meg. So, Meg is bored out of her mind, but worst of all, she doesn't get anyone that's willing to take her bet while hustling pool. Bruce, unable to watch her embarrass herself anymore, advises her to go home, but that's when Meg gets a request from a strangely fine dude asking for a ride home.
Yeah, I'll give you a ride. Just hope you don't mind going fast.
Here, let me show you how it's done. Oh, sorry.
That's my fault. This should have been the first suspicion, because your luck is not so favorable as to bring a fine-looking man like that your way. And my point is proven precisely because the next thing Seymour does as Meg drives them home is have her pull up at a convenience store while he goes out to rob the place.
I'll just do sex. You don't need that.
Wait right here.
What is
Told you your luck wasn't so good. Seymour robs the store and Meg serves as the getaway driver. Okay, maybe the thrill was fun, but it's time to call it quits and stay away from this man. Well, no, they do it again the following night and even go ahead to make plans to hit a big department store, but Chris overhears the plot and does the sensible thing of trying to talk her out of it, but she ignores him.
Seymour's just using me? Trust me, Chris, I'm not confused about anything.
No, Meg.
Stop spying on me, you little creep.
Oh, man, I gotta tell somebody.
Meg and the Seymour guy are too committed now, so they pull off the heist and get away. But it seems Meg's senses slowly start to return because she tries to ask Seymour if he's really using her.
Just using me, are you?
What will give you that idea?
I don't know.
Of course he's using you, but Seymour then says he loves her, and at the mention of the word, Meg is too far gone. But their Bonnie and Clyde relationship is interrupted by a cop.
Seymour!
Meg panics, floors the accelerator to escape, but things are brought back to sharp reality when they end up crashing into Peter driving Quagmire's car. But you want to know the craziest part? Chris caught up with Meg to reveal to her that the entire thing was all in her head.
Seymour... What the...
Meg, there never was a Seymour. Think about it.
Just hope you don't mind going fast.
Ooh, big flat butt, 11 o'clock.
I got it. How lonely do you have to be that you completely imagine a whole new gangster boyfriend just to experience some sort of thrill in your life? That is borderline mental and in urgent need of therapy. But while that was wild and sad, the episode that truly revealed that Meg needed therapy to unlearn all the abuse she had internalized was when she accepted her role as being the family's punching bag because, in a stupid logic, it meant the family got to stay together. Seahorse, seashell, party. So a hurricane takes the television out and the Griffins are left in the house. And so because they're bored, they try a game, but when Meg wants to join in, they turn against her.
You at the same time! Bang, bang!
Hey, me too! Bang!
Oh, no one wants to get finger banged by you, Meg.
Why don't you just go do that to yourself, Meg?
Meg bears this. The boredom gets worse, and next Peter tries to hum along to the opening theme from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and then picks on Meg for no reason as usual. But this time, Meg wasn't just going to take it.
To your father like that?
Yeah, shut up, Meg!
No! You shut up, Chris! I am sick of all you guys ganging up on me. You guys all think you're so much better than me.
Oh, Meg, that is the least fancy thing I have ever heard.
I gotta say, I was proud of her taking a firm stand and calling them out here. It felt like a relief that after all the years of abuse, she was finally speaking up. She didn't stop there. She decided to call out all their flaws one by one, starting with Chris.
To ask to be treated with a little decency from my brother? Maybe show me some kind of kindness by not jumping on the Let's Get Meg family bandwagon?
And then she calls out Lois too for failing at being a good mother to her. But what really breaks Lois is when Meg says this.
Honestly, when I turn 18, I don't know that I ever want to see you again.
The full speech was already heartbreaking to listen to, and this was just a gut punch to add. But Meg wasn't done. When Peter tries to interrupt with some humor, Meg brings up that his own faults may be the worst of all. It's not a May. He is actually the worst of all. But you really feel for Meg when she says all she has to say to Peter, and all he did was laugh.
To me? Do you both just have your heads up your asses?
There was too much emotional pain here, and for someone whose abuse had been played for cheap laughs for so long, this was a more serious tone that really makes you feel bad for Meg. After her criticisms, not a single one of them apologized to her. Instead, they all just turned on each other, arguing and bickering and falling apart. This is when Meg observes all that's going on and comes to the depressing conclusion that she has a purpose to act as the family lightning rod to work out their frustrations. And worst of all, she's the one who freaking ends up apologizing.
Something to say. You're right. It's all my fault.
What?
My god, this is so sad. I don't even have words. Just like the silence that followed when Stewie had her sucked into space.
Hey, Brian, check it out. Meg's poking around the cargo hold. I'm gonna give her a little scare.
This is a perfect example of a loud silence. Another moment to feel bad for Meg is when she tried to get into the cheerleading squad, but it was absolutely nothing to be cheerful about. So Meg tried out for the cheerleading squad, but is accepted into the Flag Girl squad instead. And Flag Girl was basically just a gathering of all the weirdos and outcasts in school. Meg doesn't really mind much, she still takes her role seriously. But at the game, while she's super excited and everything, the boys in school decide to pull off a stinking and cruel prank on her.
It's how to knock her down a couple notches.
It was such a humiliating experience, but Meg decides to still be kind and nice to them thanks to Lois's advice, and they invite her to a party, and somehow Meg thinks it's because they actually think she's cool too. Lois, on the other hand, devises a plan for revenge, but Meg is reluctant at first to betray her newfound friends. But then she soon learns the hard way again that none of them ever accepted her when they pull another prank on her.
Okay, everyone get ready. Say hello to the lovers.
But the insult goes deeper when they tell her that the pig should be humiliated. I know it's just an animated show, but these kids are mean, and poor Meg has to be the brunt of every joke every time. But at least those were strangers. What about when it's her family still treating her like crap that she heads off to start a whole new life? Better off Meg. In this episode, it's Meg's birthday, but no one remembered. Not her school, not her family, no one. She shows up at school to find it completely empty.
Why are you here? It's skip day.
It's skip day? Nobody told me.
She's unpopular and unattractive.
But when she gets home, everyone's gone too. So she calls her parents, but the confusion gets crazier because they think they're already with her.
Oh,
Mom, where are you guys?
who is this?
It's Meg. Where is everyone?
Well, this can't be Meg. She's with us here at the pier.
Who is that?
Someone who says she's Meg.
Now it's either they're blind or they've finally lost it, or wait, they simply don't care. So Meg heads to a bowling alley to celebrate alone, but then there's a mix-up with her ID and everyone thinks she died in a car crash.
Wait, did you give my ID to the wrong girl?
Sorry, them shoe spray fumes made me all goofy in my head.
Now, Meg could have stepped in to clear the confusion, but instead she sees it as a sign. She leaves town to start over, and somehow I sort of supported her here. Maybe she'll get her chance to meet people who actually value her. But back home, the Griffins are finally sad about her.
Miss you, Meg.
Stop it, Ryan. Stop your crying. Stop it. Please stop. Stop. Stop it. Stop crying. Stop crying. Stop crying.
But the person who took it to a whole new level of just horrible? Chris. He gets drunk with the attention her death brings so much that he starts milking it.
Hey, Griffin, I heard you scored with the girls' basketball team yesterday.
Yup, 12 points and 8 rebounds.
Aw, Griffin, you're the man.
Then Meg gets homesick, which is understandable, and she calls alive, scared, needing help. But what does Chris do? He kidnaps her, just so she doesn't get in the way of his new popularity.
Chris, what are you doing? Let me out!
Sorry, Meg, but I can't let you come home just yet. I'm too popular now.
From throwing her into the back of a van, he locks her in a warehouse while the school organizes a memorial for her. And so lonely, terrified, and broken, Meg makes the brutal decision of escaping by any means necessary.
Head against the cement floor enough times. I think I can create a blood luge to slide myself out on.
I certainly do not want to picture that. Anyways, it works, and Meg showed up to confront Chris and the family at school. She seriously deserved more justice than the whack apology that Chris gave, but another time Meg deserved justice but never got it was when Peter sent her out to drown. Peter's daughter. For this episode, the Griffin house gets flooded, but instead of Peter helping his family get to safety, Peter demands Meg dive into the submerged kitchen to retrieve a case of beer.
There's a case of beer in the fridge. I can't leave that behind. Meg, you're a good swimmer. Go get it.
What? But Dad!
And for God's sake, do not be afraid to make me a sandwich while you're in there.
In a life-threatening flood, you're sending your daughter out there? Well, Meg nearly drowns trying to complete this idiotic mission. But what does Peter do?
Well, Lois, I am sorry for snapping at you earlier. You were right to criticize Meg. She could not even handle this simple task. She's in there right now, taking a nap underwater.
Taking a nap? She's unconscious, Peter! They finally rush to her hospital, but Meg is in a coma. It's at this point that Peter finally recalls how horrible he's been to her.
My daughter, and I feel like I've never treated her as well as I should have. Hey, Meg, you got something on your shirt.
Hi, Dad.
Remembering all this horrible treatment he dished out on Meg touches Peter, and he makes a resolution to do better.
You hear me, Meg? If you come out of this, I am going to treat you like a princess for the rest of your life.
But it's not like this promise makes any difference because it's the same Peter that had his friends gang up on picking on her in Road to Rupert. After Peter crashes his car and 2 others, his driver's license is revoked for reckless driving. Stranded at home and annoying Lois beyond belief, she makes the unfortunate decision to appoint Meg as his personal driver. And let's be honest, this was a terrible idea. Peter, already a frustrating man-child, makes Meg instantly regret ever agreeing to help.
I want apple juice.
Dad, you left your apple juice at home.
I want apple juice.
You want to watch SpongeBob?
Yes, with apple juice.
But things go from bad to worse when Peter starts having her pick up his friends too, who, of course, join in with Peter to relentlessly pick on her.
Will you guys just shut up back there? Ah, gross! Will you stop it? Stop it!
Meg tries her best to endure it all with whatever dignity she has left until they literally set her hair on fire.
Your scalp on fire.
Don't worry, I'll put it out.
That's when she finally snaps. What follows is a full-blown fit of road rage. And honestly, you can't even blame her.
Oh, God, stop!
Watching her explode on the poor driver she crashes into, it's chaotic, it's destructive, but deep down, you just feel bad for Meg. She was pushed to her breaking point by the very people who were supposed to care about her. It's crazier when she joins the family and saying the same thing, but gets bashed for it.
Gonna become a model.
Hey, that's fantastic, Lois. And I'll pleasure myself to your photos.
Me too.
Me too.
Oh, God, Meg, that's sick. That's your mother.
I'm just trying to fit in.
Get out. Get out of this house. I said no!
Meg is constantly dismissed, and her opinions are treated like trash. But if you think watching Meg go through all these is the craziest thing out there, check out this video about Lois's entire life story, and you'll feel way more for her too.